Texas. They say everything's bigger here, and they're right. We've got big cars, big hearts, and even bigger steaks. This is beef country, Texas.
Home to the Alamo, and a state park so big that we named it just that. Big Bend. Call it that because it's really big and it bends. Duh.
It's got a Texas-sized podcast as well. And this is it, right here, Fort Hood's great big podcast. Yeehaw.
There are bluebonnets that have been sighted on Fort Hood.
The first ones?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The the environmental folks with DPW?
Yes.
Yeah, they posted a photograph this week, and I shared it this morning and went, look it, spring is here in Texas.
Yes. Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung.
It's a little bit late though, right?
Global warming.
No, I mean,
I thought there were
like March
more.
22nd is usually March 22nd, I think, is the first
can't
day of
even remember.
spring.
I thought it was sooner.
First day of spring. But we also sprung forward this weekend. All right. This is Tuesday morning after the Monday after. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a lot of people on social media complaining about dragging that, coming into work for 1 hour.
That was me.
That happened Saturday night.
I mean, I'm not going to cry over losing an hour of sleep I never get anyway, so
Yeah.
suck it up,
Right.
people.
Oh, I'm still tired.
Really?
Yeah.
It
feels off.
We had this discussion last week about flying to Japan and how every 2 hours of difference takes a day to recover. So
You should have
12
recovered
hours
all.
later,
a
you
half
should have been
day.
good to go by Monday.
Oh, I don't feel.
No excuses.
I think I need a full week to adjust.
The only weird thing to me is that I got used to the sun coming up, and now it's an hour later, and it's like,
And
I need to get in the car and get to work.
I feel so dumb because I was like, well, we're springing forward, so it's going to be lighter sooner. So
Yeah.
But then I realized, what am I even talking about?
No, it's lighter later, but it stays lighter longer.
Yeah, I'm like, man, that really sucks.
Yeah.
It's like I've never sprung forward before. I'm like a spring forward rookie. Is that a thing?
Really? Come
Yeah.
on.
How could I
You
make
just-
that mistake?
You didn't make it. Well, you weren't paying any attention, I guess. But, okay. Let's talk vaccines. We're going to do a little health minute here.
Everybody.
Walking into the studio, we were kind of sort of milling around topics to talk about. And you guys both informed me, you're both double shots.
Heck yes.
Double shots.
Mission complete.
Vaccinated.
Yes, indeed.
Fully vaxxed.
Wow.
Ready to go.
Hashtag get your shot.
94.5% immunity. Something like that.
I will get it when it's offered.
I hope
But-
you get it soon.
Yeah, I don't have shot one.
Wow. You haven't gotten even one?
No.
I'll make a phone
You're
call.
left out.
I'm making a phone call to Cardamsey. This is
Wow.
this is not sliding with me.
Even Charlie, our beloved original co-host,
Yeah.
got his. He's fully vaccinated too.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
You're the and he had COVID.
so
Jeez.
is Jake Caldwell over there at Fort Bragg. I don't know. I'm just not special.
I guess
you're
not.
special to me.
Yeah,
Aw.
well, So I really got to know because I haven't had it yet. So, you're going to clue me in. Talk to me about side effects. And so many people were going, oh, that second shot is so bad. Kelvin.
I had a sore arm. I had my friend texting me this morning. I mean, she's only got her first one yesterday, and
Right.
she's like, I got a headache. I don't feel well. I'm scared. I'm like, you're scared of what? All the information is there in front of you. It's highly researched. You have a better shot at getting an adverse reaction from the flu vaccine. Stop being dramatic. Trisha. Yeah, I'm going to say your name. You're being dramatic. And I hope you listen to this. Oh, my head hurts. No, I'm just kidding. I hope you feel better. Suck it up.
Oh,
All right, what about you?
So the second shot was bad for me. The first one, I didn't even notice it.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one it had me out for the count for about 2 days.
Really?
Yes. So I got the shot and I went to the hospital to pick up some medication, not related. And about 40 minutes after I had the shot, I was standing in line about to get my medications. And all of a sudden, both my ears started ringing. Both of my hands went numb. And then I almost fell over because I got extremely dizzy.
Whoa.
Yes. So I was really concerned. And my heart rate started beating like really fast. And it stayed fast for about 4 hours. There was nothing I could do to come. Like I was meditating. I went home. I lay down. I was like, we're going to get through this. And my heart rate would not slow down. But it did around 7 p.m. because I got the shot at 1. So I found out, I did some research.
So it was like almost immediately?
It was
That's
immediate,
how you felt?
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody else I'm in a group chat of people that we all got our vaccinations on the same day.
Right.
And I had the worst reactions. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But you survived.
I survived it. The weird nerve, like losing my hand feelings.
Yeah.
And the heartbeat, the elevated heart rate went away after 4 hours. And my arm was sore. I had a headache, like at the very front.
Yeah.
But it went away after 2 days, and I feel great now.
Wow.
So, but I did read that you don't get the full effects. So even though you and I are vaccinated, it takes 2 weeks for it to fully go through your system.
Oh yeah, you guys are both still wearing masks and doing all that stuff.
Of course,
Yes.
because I'm responsible, Dave.
Yeah. You
Unlike
are.
the other people.
Yes.
Hey. Let us
To
not
each
get
their
into
own. Yes, to each their own.
Let us not get into Texas politics, please.
I love Texas, though.
I do.
I do too.
I enjoy living here.
Yes,
very
Texas
much.
really loves veterans.
They do.
The rates are great for housing, jobs, a lot of benefits. Yes. I recommend the Lone Star State.
And that's why I retired from the Army here in the Lone Star State.
You're a wise man, Dave.
Very wise.
Sometimes. But one thing that Texas does have, right? And because, here in Central Texas, it's kind of dry most of the time. And
Mostly.
But when it rains, what happens?
It pours.
When it rains, it pours.
Floods.
And that's when you get the flash floods.
Mm-hmm.
And flash flood season is coming up starting in April. It's April to September, I think, which is about the same as hurricane season, isn't it?
Yes, it's the same.
Hurricane is, I don't know, May, June, or whatever, until September. But yeah, which we're inland enough. We don't have to worry about hurricanes, but we do have to worry about flash floods, right?
And tornadoes.
And you guys get to talk to some very smart individuals all about that. And we're going to hear all about that.
When?
Right after this.
Yes.
Masks on for safety, masks on for safety. In the store, you walk in the door. Masks on for safety, masks on for safety. Day or night, do what's right.
Look, bad jingles aren't going to stop the coronavirus, but wearing a mask or a face covering can help lower the chance of infection or spread. So do your part and mask up. Or we may just have to keep singing.
Masks on for safety, masks on for safety. Be a mouth and noser, or else you're a poser.
Do what's right, save a life, wear a mask.
It's what your tax dollars sound like. Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast.
So welcome back. And next, For our segment, we have today Mr. T.C. Coffman, who's the Directorate of Public Works and the Safety Program Manager. Hello.
Hello.
And we also have Mr. Edward Anderson, who is a retired Sergeant Major with the Texas A&M AgriLife Fort Hood Flood Warning Program Project Manager. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So we want to try to raise awareness about flood warnings and water. I see that on your card it says you're a water science laboratory. That sounds
so that's really interesting because Texas A&M AgLife does water research and water quality projects to promote better livestock management.
Okay,
and also we do flood management also. We've done it mainly on Fort Hood. We've done a couple small projects in different cities around Texas.
Wow. So that I know that's really important for the animals and for food supply and things like that. Do you also work with farming and things of that nature, or just the water?
Just the water.
Just the water. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's very important. We all need water.
Yeah.
70% water. So we're glad we have people like you studying it for us.
Oh yeah.
And TC, you're the safety program manager at DPW. Where's TC come from? That's rather unique.
So TC came from my battle buddies in my early years in the military. Going out and hanging with the guys and meeting new folks. Ed didn't really jive well back then, so they thought come up with something kind of military, a tank commander. So they came up with TC as my middle initial, my last initial. So it kind of stuck, and here we are 27 years later. I'm still TC.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize you both were retired.
I'm actually not retired, but I'm.
Oh, you're not
I did
retired.
10 years, went to OIF1, and became a civilian shortly after leaving the military.
Okay, wonderful.
Stuff. And as safety program manager for DPW, what are some of the other things you're involved in?
So as the DPW safety program manager, as many folks know, the DPW is a very complex, diverse organization. We literally manage and maintain and sustain all of the real property here on the installation. So you can imagine the wide variety of hazards and hazardous work that our employees do throughout the day to keep this city running. So that being said, I mean, it's everything from construction-related hazards to industry-related hazards as we maintain the installation. So, having a very dedicated, committed culture towards employee safety is absolutely important to ensure that our people go home at the end of the day as good as or in better condition than they came to us in that morning.
Definitely. You don't happen to know Donnie Robinson, do you?
Oh, I know him very well.
Shout out to Donnie. He is one of a kind. He is our safety guy. We love you, Donnie.
Listen here, sorry for the class.
There it is.
I love these podcasts, and I know him very well. Very, very good man.
I was spot on too. I love it.
Had a long time to perfect that.
So today, you all are here to talk about flood awareness. Now, we know the weather in Texas is kind of sporadic at best, but what do we count as, the flood seasons here?
So basically, the flood seasons are from April into June, and then in the fall, September into October. Those are the months. And if you look at any stat, that's when we get the most rainfall here. The last one of note was the 2nd of September, 2020, when we had 6 or 8 inches of rain fall right by Central Texas College in West Fort Hood. That caused a wave or a flash flood where it went over Turkey Run Road. So, and it's not just used by military traffic. There's tons of civilians that use that to come back and forth to work every day.
Right.
So we just want to promote the awareness, and then also refine the program where maybe we put some things in place that'll divert people away from those during those times. Now, it's only maybe 5 or 6 times a year that we have storms of that magnitude. But when it rains here, it pours. It doesn't, it's feast or famine with water around here. So it's either you don't get any for 3 months and all of a sudden you get 10 inches in a couple hours, which no soil concentration, and then also with the topography, it kind of lends to rapid runoff. So when the basins
overflow,
fill up, and the soil can't absorb any more water, that's when you get these massive runoffs. Case in point, also West Fort on the west side, or West Range Road, and Howes Creek and Cowhouse Creek. During that same time when we had the problem, the second, it was 18 and 11 feet that they crested at. So it's, that's water where you don't want to be driving it, or you don't even want to think about it because, oh, yeah, this is deep. But then you see how fast debris is moving down there. Right. It doesn't matter what you're in. Either you're going to sink in it or it's going to push you down the road. So. Yeah.
I remember seeing photos in September, and I have some coworkers that live out there, and some of the pictures they were sharing were crazy. I hadn't seen that here in Texas at all. That really shocked me. I remember that morning because I'm registered with the Fort Hood mass notification safety system, and my phone kept going off, and I actually I live off post, but I had to take another way into work because some of the roads off post were flooded too.
Yes.
On
the installation, there's the alert system, which you register on your computer when you first log in, like when you first set up your account. It's a mass notification warning system for the DoD. That's designed to definitely for the user. Now you can add your personal phone numbers and emails and stuff like that. I know my daughter called me one time. She goes, "This thing keeps telling me the low water crossings are doing." I said, "Listen to the whole thing. It'll ask you to acknowledge it by pressing a button. I don't know what button it is. Or they're going to call you again. Or it's going to keep calling you, But off post, there's an app you can download, or you can register with the Central Texas Council of Governance. It's called Code Red. And Code Red is, if you download the app, it uses the GPS function in your smartphone, which I don't think anybody doesn't have a smartphone anymore.
Dave?
Call out.
But what it does is it uses the GPS system in there where it gives you alerts for where you're located within a 25 or 30 mile radius. So if there is a disaster or a situation happening, from it could be natural disasters, could be a bad traffic accident, could be a fire, or it could be a shelter-in-place order. It'll let you know. I know I have it on my phone, and when I'm in Temple working at the Blackland Research Center in Temple, and the quarry is going to do a controlled detonation to harvest rock, I get a ping. Hey, at 2:00 you're gonna, there's going to be a blast at Miller's Quarry. So it's a useful thing. Granted, to me, I don't even hear it when I'm in my office, but I imagine it, if you live next door, it would probably make sense to have something like that.
That's cool. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's been around since the 90s.
Wow. Is it just for Texas, or is it?
Code Red is nationwide.
Oh, nationwide. Wow.
So it's really good if you're traveling. So if you're driving someplace, that it uses your phone. So if you're driving, say you're driving through Kansas and it's nighttime and it's raining, and then all of a sudden your radio goes bling bling, the emergency alert about shelter in place because there's a tornado on the ground or a watch. You can definitely heed that advice, because I'll tell you, I was driving through Missouri one time on a PCS move, had everything in the truck that I owned. And here I am, the radio's, the emergency alert system's going off. Hey, if you're in these counties, you need to seek shelter right now. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'm in one of those counties. I don't know which one,
The same thing happened to me, actually. I was PCSing, had all my stuff in my car, and it was really scary.
Yeah.
The weather Mother Nature is not to be messed with.
Yeah. I mean, we can't do anything to prevent flash floods, but we can do things to manage risk
Right.
to people and to property.
Yeah,
You know,
and spread awareness. So
and spread
people know.
awareness. Yeah. I mean, like the installation has 6 gauges that are operated by the USGS. That's the United States Geological Survey, and they're the ones that does all the measurements or water quality measurements or depth measurements for the nation. So they have a website. You go to it. You can actually look and see what the stream depth is, how much rainfall in the last 7 days, and stuff like that. And everybody's like, well, why do I need to know that? It's like, oh, man, if you're a fisherman, you might want to say, hey, man, is there going to be water in my fishing spot, or is it going to be, about this deep? Because we all know in Texas, either it's 4 feet deep or it's gone.
Yeah.
There's no difference, so. All right.
Oh.
In TC, how long you been here working for DPW here on Fort Hood?
So working for DPW, I'm going in my 18th year. I've been on Fort Hood 28 years.
What?
That is amazing.
Oh my goodness! Thank
what
you
they
for your
say.
service.
Once you're at Hood, I mean, they just don't
Yeah,
let you this is my second time back. I thought I escaped. They were like, guess what? Knocked out. I was like, who's there? Fort Hood, you're coming back.
I'm living
cool.
proof, and if you can believe it, when I sat down with the recruiter, went to MEPS, this is where I selected to be. This was my
Wow!
station of choice, as they called it then.
Wow! Nobody to blame but yourself.
This is true.
So where does it flood the most on Fort Hood then?
So fortunately, it floods the most out in the training areas. That's where a lot of our streams congregate. Typically, all congregating towards that Cowhouse Creek, or that major stream that flows through the installation from west to east. But there are areas here in the cantonment as well that are prone to flooding or prone to being impacted by stormwater runoff. And, a lot of our focus goes to the established streams on the installation that are going to receive a majority of that rainfall at some point. But I think when we talk about flooding and flood waters, it's important to communicate to folks that water moving across the roadway at any juncture is something to seriously stop and consider turning around and finding an alternative course, because you really don't know a lot of times what's going on underneath that water that's moving across the roadway. It could have damaged that roadway and whatever, and created a greater hazard enough to just cause your vehicle to stop operating properly, leaving you stranded in those instances. But even with established low water crossings, and you'll see the gauges, usually like a ruler standing up on its end alongside that low water crossing. I feel, unfortunately, sometimes that can be a little misleading, because someone may say that, it says it's just a foot. Well, yeah, it may just be a foot, but your vehicle's capabilities, again, what's underneath that water,
Right.
and then what's to come. That water's moving across the roadway, and what could it bring with it that could come and impact you and take you off that roadway. So, really, we want people to start to, everyone hears "turn around, don't drown." I mean, I can't imagine that anyone out there today hasn't heard "turn around, don't drown." But what we really want to start to do, one of the things that I would really like folks to do is start, when you see water moving across the roadway, or you see those flood waters, or if you know that we have significant rainfall coming, or it's going to be along your path of travel, one, be informed, and two, be prepared to ask yourself, is it worth it? I'm also a 17-year volunteer firefighter for Northeast Burnett County. And, out here on the installation over my 28 years, out there serving as a volunteer firefighter, I've seen, I can't even tell you how many swift water incidents, been involved in numerous swift water rescues. I've actually been the individual on the end of a tether with a harness on, out in a raging stream, taking, a couple of young men out of a tree. They
Oh,
were
my
fortunate
goodness.
enough to get into that
made it.
tree
Yeah.
as they were being swept away. Their vehicle, you ended up 3 counties away.
What?
3 counties away, and you know their
That's
modesty was jeopardized
crazy.
because the stream had taken every stitch of
Oh my
clothing off of them. So it took their vehicle, took them out of their vehicle, and took every stitch off of them.
Oh my gosh.
And we had to rescue them and return them to their parents and EMS without a stitch of clothing.
Wow.
So we really want people to understand, what is it worth to see that water moving across that roadway
Yeah.
and still want to move forward, and it's the other folks that are impacted by a decision like that. It's not just the person operating that vehicle. It could be the other occupants. It could certainly be the first responders, the folks that are going to, come if that goes wrong. And then the families, your personal family, the Army family, heaven forbid it happen again on our installation. But is it worth it? Is it really worth trying to get to the other side of that swollen stream to move down that roadway? Can we find another direction to go? And, a lot of the things, Ed had mentioned some of them, Code Red and the work that the USGS, the things that we've done here and the resources that provides. There's a lot of things out there that you can do to be informed. Obviously knowing that we have severe weather coming or heavy downpours or heavy rainfall potential. And then that should set off a trigger that says, hey, what is my commute? Or, hey, we're traveling. I'm taking the family to Disneyland. What is my route? We all go into our GPS and it plots our little route, how many hours it's going to take us to get there, how many stops we have along the way. But there's also tools out there that can help you plan and prepare and do your personal risk assessment and plan that route to get there safely. So that's a big part of why we're here is, one, really add emphasis to the severe nature and hazard potential of floodwaters, and know that there's tools out there that can help our soldiers, our leaders, and our community plan and get current conditions of these established low water crossings and our streams on the installation in the state of Texas and nationally.
And that is very important for us here. As you know, we're always training here. Readiness is key, but also our soldiers. They're our number one priority.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, you got a training mission going on. What can you tell those leaders out there? Because unfortunately, we have had, a couple of things happen here, safety issues dealing with flooding. What can you talk to these leaders about?
So I'm a safety guy. So, I have to say, do that risk assessment. And when you do that risk assessment, use the tools that you have at your disposal. Use every tool that you have at your disposal to accurately and thoroughly assess the hazard and to develop those mitigating controls. They're going to help you mitigate or eliminate that hazard potential in your mission, in your movement. So, one of those tools, would be is just simply go to the 3 Corps webpage, and in the upper right-hand side, there's a little box there that says low water crossings. If we know that we've got heavy rain or we've had heavy rain, click on that little box, that little button, and it's going to give you today's current conditions of Fort Hood's low water crossings. And if those low water crossings happen to be along your route, you might have to make a different plan, select a different route. And if those established low water crossings are in a poor condition, that probably means that any tactical crossings along those or hasty crossings that could be along that same stream are also going to be hazardous.
So, Mr. Anderson.
I'm still getting used to that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's okay.
Sorry. Ed. I know both of y'all are Ed, so I don't want to confuse our listeners who can't see
Okay.
you two.
Now you just confused everybody I know that's going to hear this.
Oh.
Who's the other Ed?
I thought they said his name was TC.
We don't even know. So, let me see. I just lost my train of thought. I was going to ask
I have
you.
that effect on people.
So, I know we mentioned the multiple the yearly swiftwater rescues and the dangers. And I'm sure you know a little bit more, not just about the Fort Hood area, but since you work with A&M.
So in Texas, there's about 320, give or take, swiftwater rescues. Even with that high number of rescues, there's still about an average of 10 people a year drowned in floods in Texas. And when you look at the pure numbers, you would think, oh man, when Katrina happened and the storm surge and all that stuff, that would kill a lot more people. No, it's the flash floods that are actually the predominant casualty producing storms, as you may say. And with that, and TC said it, we all heard turn around, don't drown, or is it worth it? Well, the thing is you got to realize when you enter that water, most passenger cars will become buoyant at about 6 inches to a foot of water. So, if you're driving in your beater, you're going to get pushed off the road. Not to mention a foot of water puts 500 pounds of pressure per cubic foot on a vehicle in the water. Wow. So the idea of, hey, I could drive through there. Yeah, well, you're going to get pushed right off the roadway, and then you're going wherever the water wants to take you. The force of water is such a dramatic effect. I read an article by the Weather Channel guys, and they equated it to tornadoes. Wow. And they said the force of this much water flowing at this rate would equal like an F5 or an F4 or EF5 or EF4 tornado. And when you think about that, well, tornadoes pick up houses and fling stuff all over the place, well, water does the same thing. The only difference is you're lucky to find anything that washes away, because either it gets destroyed from, it getting bumped around, or it's gone so far that you won't find it, So.
Yeah. So what do you think is the reason that people still make that decision to try to cross the bridge or go to the other side, even with all this knowledge? Like we've mentioned, all the daily resources, like hourly up to date info, and every year this still happens. Why do you think that is? So
to bring it back to the gauges that the USGS has, they're updated every 15 minutes. So from the time the gauge takes a reading, sends it to the satellite back down to a ground station and gets posted on their website, is less than 30 minutes. So when you look and say, oh, it's 8 feet, that's about as real time as you can get. I mean, that's within 30 minutes. So the other part of it is I really think, and from the studies, and just number one, when do most fatalities happen? They're in vehicles. It's at night. And predominantly, they're males that enter the water. Like TC's story, the young men that went in the water, Yeah. And overconfidence, or how can I put this in a nice way? Testosterone overpowers the brain power. Should I go in this water? I mean, especially with soldiers. The Army trained you guys. I've been a soldier for 30 years. You think you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, man.
Nothing's going to happen to me.
Yeah, it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're the one getting pulled out of the water or from a tree by the fire department. Now, I will say this: Fort Hood has an excellent EMS, emergency services branch of the installation. Those guys are trained, proficient, and they're continually improving themselves. Just in conversations with them, and they're plugged in. They're plugged into the local, the Killeen and Temple and other agencies around the state. So they really know, and they focus on what they need to do for training. But to close it out, I would say that, overconfidence or lack of understanding, because a lot of people, even like I read a study where it was in Austin, a lot of people in the city don't think that the floodwater is that dangerous, because, I'm in Austin, man. Like, it's only a foot of water. Yeah, it's a foot of water. It's going to cause your car to have a new engine put in it after it stalls out. And then you're at the mercy of the current. And then, if you're young people, probably could survive. But, if you're a little bit older, not as mobile as you used to be, you could seriously become a casualty to a flood,
Definitely. And water, no joke. I always say that because I'm not even taking my little Kia through the most minor of puddles. So I couldn't even imagine, going through some kind of, high water area. But yeah, safety first, definitely. I'm really glad you guys came in today. Flooding, not only for the community, but us here on Fort Hood, it definitely affects everyone. We just have to be careful. We have some good resources out there that you heard them mention. TC, do you just want to run by a couple of those, maybe the apps that they can use and other resources that they can go to, so that maybe they can be aware of their situation before they go out there?
Yeah, absolutely. The first one that I would definitely emphasize is again, going to the 3 Corps website, especially if we have, that hazardous weather potential out there, and going to the 3 Corps website and looking at the status of our low water crossings here on the installation. The second and also most important, because it can help us not just here on the installation, but across the state and across the nation, is the USGS water dashboard. They have the Texas water dashboard and then the national water dashboard. And much like Code Red does for, emergencies as you travel, that dashboard can also assist you, not just in planning a route or planning a trip or a movement, a military movement, but it can also help you as you move along that route. It also has the capability to give you information of low water crossings or low water areas that are along your route. And as Ed mentioned, over the last 3 years, and I've been directly involved with this project, the installation has installed, working with USGS, has installed 6 stream flow gauges or observation stations right here on our installation. So if you go to the Texas Water Dashboard, you can see right here on the installation, you can click on our stations and you get real-time information, real-time data on precipitation or how much rainfall we've had, real-time information on the condition of our streams at those 6 critical locations. And so it can help our folks. And again, I want to emphasize the importance of using those tools when we do our planning. When we plan our convoys and our movements, I don't want to go and, I've always wanted to stay away from being, back in my day, but there was a strong emphasis in my young time as a soldier out here, as a combat engineer. There was a strong emphasis in that training planning, that movement planning, doing that risk assessment and having those convoy briefs, very thorough convoy briefs, rolling up into the command and control and how you communicate as you move. And so using those resources, using those tools that are out there, and if all else fails or somebody forgets Texas Weather Dashboard or Code Red or whatever, call the DPW safety office. We're going to take care of you. Well, I'll get you the information, whatever I got to do. Call range operations. Call the range operations folks. They are plugged in. When there's rain coming and when they're looking at heavy rainfall, range operations, the IOC, they're all looking at our gauge stations, at our stream gauges. They're all watching them and looking for the indications that we're starting to see changes in the condition of our streams and our low water crossings. So call somebody. If you're in that planning stage and you forget where those tools or those resources are, just call somebody. The DPW safety program has a website range operations. Everybody that's going out into the training land should know how to contact range control or range operations. So, that's where I would emphasize the importance of those tools, the importance of risk assessments, risk management, and planning and briefing our folks before we make a move.
And I would add to that, if you don't remember to call anybody, Range Control has those Jumbotron message boards on East and West Range Road, and I want to say I've seen it on Elijah Road also. So as you enter as you're going into the training areas or entering the installation, you will see real time stuff. They put out, if there's a fire hazard, they also put out tactical crossings are open or closed. It's one or the other. So, and I will say that they use the gauges, but they also verify with personnel. So if Range Control says, hey, we close the low water crossings on Fort Hood, they have not only checked the data or the data on the USGS web page, they've also sent out an observer to ensure that accuracy is right. Because everybody wants to know, like, well, what's the level at? Well, hey man, if you're driving a Humvee, if it's more than 2 feet, you probably don't want to drive in it. And granted, hey, like LMTVs, Strikers, Bradleys, all those can ford more than 40 inches of water, but 40 inches of water at what velocity? Right. Because the velocity can cause, water to flow over. Next thing you know, your intake takes in water, your engine stalls, and then you start getting pushed, and then it's like, hope everybody knows how to swim because we got to get out of here, And it's not like after you've made the decision to enter the water, man, it's kind of like
too late.
You're committed, So the idea is that we want to stress there's a lot of tools out there, but the biggest tool is the one in between your ears. You got to make the informed decision to whether go or no go. And you know what? Hey, man, if you show up at the range 10 minutes late because you went a different way, man, that to me, in my military experience, that's the butt chewing that I'll take gladly any day of the week because we all arrived alive,
I agree.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today. You both have a wealth of knowledge. You've worked tirelessly for many years serving our community, and we just can't thank you enough.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And for your service. All right, and we'll be back after these messages.
We'll be back.
Where do you go to get the latest news from Fort Hood, Texas?
The Fort Hood Sentinel.
And where do you go if you want ideas for things to do in Central Texas?
The Fort Hood Sentinel.
What if you don't have a copy of the Fort Hood Sentinel?
Then I go to my local newsstand and pick up a copy, or go online to www.forthoodsentinel.com.
The Fort Hood Sentinel, Fort Hood's premier place for news and Central Texas information, standing watch since 1942.
Let your voice be heard at BOSS.
What's BOSS?
BOSS stands for Better Opportunities for Single Soldiers and serves the single service member community, active, guard, and reserve, as well as single parents, geographical bachelors, all U.S. military service branches, and foreign service members assigned to the installation. The BOSS program is based on quality of life, community service, and recreation and leisure. As a member of BOSS, have a voice in how you live, how you spend your leisure time, and how you support the community around you. BOSS membership and the program's available leadership and project management roles also will enhance your promotion package. For more information about how you can become a BOSS member, visit our website at hood.armymwr.com.
It's what your tax dollars sound like. Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast.
Money, 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 money.
Money.
And that's supposed to be a cha-ching. What a cha-ching.
So during the break, we were talking about what are our closing thoughts this week. And this week, right, most folks get their stimulus check.
Oh, yeah.
I know at least two people that have been stimulated right now. Not me.
Wow.
I mean, that doesn't sound weird, does it? I mean,
Yeah, just a little.
Did I
but,
receive their stimulus checks?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Not me, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's whatever.
Yeah. Mine's supposed to hit Wednesday.
Ooh.
Ooh, you know the date?
Yeah, my bank tells me.
Oh man.
You're gonna call into work and quit?
Yeah, right. I didn't win the lottery. Come on, man. No. So, what are you gonna do? Or you got any great plans for the money?
I'm gonna put it all into GME stocks. I hear that's pretty hot.
Mr. Investor over
I'm really
here.
that's a complete joke.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I was like, I didn't know you were so savvy with the stock market.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
You could invest a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I do,
you
but
want.
just not. And that's like something I saw on social media. Which actually, if I would have done it, I probably would have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Actually, so guess the joke's on me, isn't it?
Me, I'm boring.
A tear is rolling down his cheek.
You remember I redid my patio and all that stuff, right?
Oh, that's not boring.
Extended, no, but that's paid for. That's done. But I need a shed on that 12 by 12 concrete.
She shed?
No, not a she shed.
Oh, okay.
It's a me shed.
A me shed.
I got,
What are you going to put in there?
Lawnmower,
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. Anything, make some space out of the garage.
Nice.
The wife parks
Some
her car
storage.
in the garage, but it's never going to be a 2-car garage, even with the shed.
Right.
So I have the older of the 2 cars, so mine gets the driveway. So if we
Smart
get
man.
hail or bad weather,
Oh.
it's my car that ends up in the shop.
Oh, you're such a good husband.
Yeah, I'm just a fool.
You're the best.
What about you, Brianna?
I haven't thought about what I'm going to do with it.
You have not thought about what you're going to do with money?
Not with the stimulus check.
Why not?
I don't know. I did have to pay for a college class because the new the Go Army Ed, which is now Army Ignited,
Army Ignite Ed.
has not become usable. The website is still down.
It was supposed to start the
8th.
March 8th.
Yes, March 8th.
And
it has not.
It's a week later.
Yes. And they shut down Go Army Ed on February 11th or February 12th. So it's been over a month that there's been no website for soldiers. And
so you had to pay for a class out of pocket?
I did, unfortunately. I was told it would be good. I would be cleared.
That's not cheap.
Yeah. So maybe that'll help pay me back for that class at least.
Well, there you go.
But it's still an undergraduate degree, so it's not super expensive. I mean, it's expensive.
Money is money.
That's true.
Yeah, especially when you weren't supposed to pay it in the first place.
Yes.
Did they give you the money back, you think?
No, I've been talking with some counselors, with my college and like my enrollment advisors,
Right.
and they're saying it's probably not going to happen.
Ouch.
Yeah. So that stings a little.
And how close are you to graduation?
I'm going to graduate this year.
Yay.
So
That's
I'm
why you
real
didn't
close.
wait.
Yeah.
Right?
Might as well keep. I just don't want to break.
Right.
So I'd rather
don't
just
ever do that.
Yeah. I've taken so many.
And
burns.
your degree is in IT?
Yes.
So maybe you can go and fix them when you graduate, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, fix that website issue.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I mean, with COVID still kind of sort of going on, I remember the president was talking about small gatherings at the 4th of July, more people. This is going to last the rest of the year.
Yes.
I think it will.
It
And
will.
by the time you can actually go, although more people are flying now.
Oh, yes. I know a lot of people who are just flying all over the place.
I wouldn't do that.
I don't see the point because I
No.
don't really, what are you going to do when you get there?
Stuff is closed.
Kind of like,
hours are limited. Capacity
all
is
the
limited.
touristy stuff that I would do if I flew to, I don't know, San Francisco, right? You wanted to ride a trolley car and you wanted to do this and go to this restaurant or go to that place or this place. Most of it's not going on.
Yep.
But you can still put it on social media.
And
IG,
pretend.
the looking out the plane window, custom.
Here's
photo.
my selfie.
Yeah.
Click.
Drinking a coffee in front of the closed establishment that I can't go to because of COVID. Click.
Wearing a mask.
Oh, yes, wearing a
I'm
mask
drinking
for
now.
the photo.
Yeah.
But not when you're drinking a coffee because that would be weird.
That would be weird.
Don't be weird.
Maybe you could like work a straw up under it.
I've actually seen somebody do that.
Really?
Yeah.
People
Wow.
drink coffee with a straw.
Oh no.
Okay.
People drink coffee? Ugh.
Oh my
Gross.
gosh.
We're
I
back
forgot
on
you
it.
don't.
Yes,
I forgot you don't partake.
I don't get me started. I can't go to work without at least 2 cups in me.
Well, you see how tired I look because I don't drink coffee.
See, you would think after
Yeah.
all these years in the military, you should be dipping that stuff straight out of the MREs. Which, by the way,
Yes.
that's how I kept my coffee fix when I was in the field.
Smart.
That
Oh, you
freeze dried
just-
stuff.
Yes.
Just a pinch between your cheek and
That's
gum.
hilarious.
Gives you coffee flavor all day.
I had
It's
no
not
idea.
great for your teeth.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know.
But you still absorb it.
Oh yeah. Caffeine.
Now I got the giggles again.
Yeah. Well, good. You can take us out. This show is over for the week.
It's over.
It is.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys had a good time. And until next time, we didn't call Melissa. We'll do that next time.
Yeah. Well, she's
We're
hopefully
coming
she's
for
here.
her.
Yeah. We still love you, Melissa. But until next time, we're out. Oh, wait.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
not
we're
out. We're done.
Are
We're
we?
done. Yeah.
All right, we're done. I'll allow it. Goodbye.
Driving down the road again. Tar starts thinning and cracks crumble to gravel lines. Just on the travel though,